हो सकता है वो ना रही ना
Maybe let's wait till 1 o'clock. चेंज कर लो।
Why you want people both on?
वो अपने आप ही ऑन हुआ, उसने बोला था इस पे करना पड़ेगा, मैं उस पे कर लेती हूँ।
चलो
दोबारा से कर लेती हूँ। वो तो
प्रोफाइल उन्होंने अपनी स्क्रीन म्यूट की थी उर्मिल उन्होंने म्यूट की थी उन्हें हल्की किसी बैंक में बता रहा जाके पूरी बैंक
सबके लिए नहीं बोले
बिल्कुल नहीं पता नहीं सिटी बना ली
अब शेयर चेंज कर लो, यू मे हैव टू हेल्प मी आउट। शेयर चेंज करनी है तो कर लो, यू मे हैव टू हेल्प मी आउट विद द साउंड।
Namaskar and good afternoon. This is Gaurav Rastogi.
Hi, Gaurav.
Namaskar.
Yeah.
We'll begin in another couple of minutes. We just want to give everyone time to join in.
Hello.
Kailash, are you here?
Yeah, I am on audio only.
Namaskar. And I'm also waiting upon Lataji to join.
Okay, great. About
Yes,
18
we have
people.
18 people so far online. Namaskar, everyone. I can see them. They can see me. So we're good.
Wonderful. Nice bright Sunday, and thanks everybody for taking the time.
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
We can hear you. Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Okay, there's a gentleman trying to get in. I think he's having some technical trouble. I'm trying to help him out. Satish. This is
Satish
Sanmay.
Gatanji?
My name is
Yeah.
Sanmay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sanmay, namaskar. Yeah. So,
Namaskar.
what trouble is he facing with the?
I think he's. I think maybe he's a simple mute issue. Let me call him because he just called me. He's not getting in. Let me call him. I'll let you know.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. Okay. All right. Why don't we begin with the opening prayers in the meantime, since it's about time, and this is a quick call. I put the opening prayer on the screen, and this is familiar to most people who've been through yoga teacher training. It's Sahana Bhavatu. And so we're going to chant together. Kailash, are you saying something?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So I was saying we are going to chant together, and before that, so maybe if we can get going, please sit comfortably in any posture is fine, with your back straight, and close your eyes gently. Sit with the back, neck, and head in a straight line. Closing the eyes gently and relaxing the expression on the face. Relax the shoulders and relax the belly. Bring your palms together at the heart center in Namaskar Mudra. We're going to chant Om 3 times and then the opening prayers, Sahana Bhavatu. Exhale completely. Take a deep breath. Inhale. Inhale. Inhale.
To keep guiding.
Inhale and chant. Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Saha Viryam Karavavahe, Tejasvinavadhitadastu, Mavidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Blinking, open your eyes and bring
Somebody
your
has a
palms
sound,
down.
screeching sound coming.
Sure,
Somebody's
we're going to have to
connecting.
mute everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Namaskar, everyone, and welcome to today's call. I'm going to see who is the noisy line, and I'll mute them, and you can unmute yourself at that point anytime you like. Nilesh, I think you might be on the. Let me just check which line is making the noise. So far, so good. All right, I think the noise is abated. Namaskar, everyone. Welcome to today's call. It's a quick call, and we're glad you're here. We're looking forward to classes starting next Sunday at the same time as right now, 1 o'clock, but the classes will be for 4 hours. Today, we have 3 meeting objectives. One is to familiarize you with the CHT 2020 Sunday schedule, which is how the class is going to run and so on. The second is understand the homework requirements for each session and what those are and what they mean. And the third is, of course, the learning the opening and closing prayers for all the classes. Those are our objectives. Kailash, would you like to take up the first topic, the Sunday 2020 schedule for the 4 hours?
Yes. I just wanted to bring out that, as we mentioned, we start with an opening prayer very promptly. We devote the first 15-20 minutes to introductory purpose, the topics, who are the teachers, what are the sessions going to be, and what the learning objectives broadly are going to be. And then we enter into the first session. So each in 4 hours, 3 hours is actually lectures. 1 hour is divided in the beginning, middle, and end for a break and discussions. So typically, you may have in a class 3 different speakers speaking 1 hour each. Like for next week, we're going to have 3 different speakers. I'll be starting the first hour on the overall introduction. And Gauravji will talk about the curriculum and the service model for our program. And then Bob and Carmen will come in. Third session will be on the learning management system, Moodle, and how we interact with it and how we work on it and what the processes are. The whole idea is to maintain a high quality archival database also, and also be allowed to do our online work and all that. So those are the 4 hours. Typically, that is how every 4-hour session in those 24 Sundays that we are planning will be conducted. So up to you, Gauravji.
Thank you, Kailash. So on my screen, I've pulled up the, I think each class has a resident faculty who's in charge of that class, which is they're either delivering the class or they have called in visiting faculty to deliver that class. And each class also has a teaching associate. Some of the teaching associates are dialed into today's call as well. These teaching associates are mostly people who attended the CHT course last year and have very kindly accepted to come back and serve as teaching associates. So you will have people in the classroom that know the course content, know what the CHT class is about, and they will be providing the bridge to the class. So the classes will open at 1 o'clock and adjourn promptly at 5 o'clock, except one day this year when one class might run 30 minutes over, it will start and finish 30 minutes late. For the first 5 minutes, we will review the learning objectives. Similar to what I've laid out over here, the objectives for the class will be listed very clearly and unambiguously, and homework requirements will also be reviewed upfront, and we will review them again at the back end of the call. There are 3 lecture units in every class, starting at 1:20 for 55 minutes each, with a break in the middle. Then we have a learning recap for half an hour, about 35 minutes, a learning recap, which is to say, have we met these learning objectives? That's our first objective. So make sure that we are conveying the information that needs to be conveyed in the time. And if there are any questions or clarifications, we can address them at that point. Then there is homework to be done, and that homework will be detailed. And if you have questions about what the homework is, you can address them right now. Then we close with the closing prayers and adjourn promptly at 5. Like we did last time, we want to begin and end on time. Every call is recorded, so we won't hold the bus for anyone who's not joined in. Recordings are available offline as well. In addition, there are requirements for for submitting your homework within a certain time frame. I'll talk you through that as well. So our first objective is to show you that the class schedule runs from 1 to 5 and has a very set pattern. Typically 3 lectures. It might be the same individual delivering all 3, or 2 or 3 different individuals coming in, depending on the schedule for that day. The first 6 Sundays are laid out here, which is, these are all the Sundays that you already know. October 20th is next Sunday. The next class after that is on November 3rd, because October 27th is Diwali, and of course no one will attend on Diwali. November 10th is the next class. November 24th is the class that starts at 1:30 and goes to 5:30. December 8th, we're skipping Thanksgiving, obviously, and finishing up on December 15th for this calendar year. Each class, so these are the topics. For example, next Sunday, there are 3 topics that are being discussed. Kailash ji is discussing the CHT course and HCR, and I will be discussing the field of view and service objectives. And our learning management experts, Bob and Carmen, will be talking to us about Moodle, which is our learning management system, how to use it, and they'll train you on it. Next, and then on November 3rd, Vijay Kapoor ji will cover a very popular class of his, which is Core Tenets of Hinduism. And I will come in and talk about Bhagavad Gita's unique place in the history, not just Indian, but worldwide history. After that, on November 10th, we have a treat. Mukunji, who's on our board and is a faculty, he does a fantastic class on compassionate presence. And then we also have Anil Molares, who's the head of Spiritual Direction International. He is coming to talk about best practices from other faiths. On November 24th, I will be back to talk about Karma Yoga. This is very heavily, our entire curriculum is very heavily relying on the Bhagavad Gita. So you'll see a lot of Bhagavad Gita classes. This is Karma Yoga in the Hindu tradition, in a non-traditional way, you'll see, in a fun way. And also we have a treat. Swamini ji is here, and she will be talking about meditation and spirituality. On the 8th of December, another fantastic class. Mangala ji, who's a CHT from last year's class and is on the board now, she will be talking about the field operations manual, and I believe Anil Didi ji will be talking about the Samskara guidance system, which are both systems that you will see in the field. And then case management as well. Finally, on the 15th, we will all come together. 2 amazing classes. I'm looking forward to both. One is, of course, the Om Dollar project. You're going to see what are the projects that are lined up, and you'll have an opportunity to select the ones you like. And the next one is Subhash Kakji is coming to give us a distinguished lecture. And Subhash Kakji, for those who know him, of course you know him, but if you don't, he's a computer science professor, but he's a very well-known Vedic expert and an expert in Indian history and in Sanskrit. And his writings are just amazing. So I'm wondering how he will convert everything into 1 hour. But we'll see what comes out of that. So this is the schedule for the year, October 20th to December 15th. There are 6 classes. Each class, you will see again, has 2 to 3 teachers and will therefore be able to cover all the 4 hours. And we will have class objectives and homework. Any questions on this before we move on to the homework part?
Garoji, Rajesh here.
Rajesh, yes.
Yeah. So next week, we had the Global Gita conference, and I don't know how many of us are attending, but I'd like to know if there's a chance that we can, delay the start of our program.
In terms of time or date,
in terms of time, maybe just by an hour or so.
So I'm also at the same conference. I'm speaking on Saturday. But we went back and forth. We can't change the schedule, because otherwise, if you have a variable start, then people can't organize their Sundays because you're already taking out your Sunday for this course. So we figured that we will just start on time, and if that means leaving the conference early, then that's just what we're going to have to do.
Sure.
So I apologize for that, but we're sticking to the schedule so that there's predictability to our Sundays.
Yeah. I think Gauravji, just want to say, I think if we had a bit more notice or thought on this subject, we could have probably done something. I think there's too short a notice for so many people and all our planning. But I think it's going to be online, so everybody who misses will be able to catch up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Thanks.
Thank you.
Gauraji,
Thank you. Thank you,
Krishna
guys.
Yes.
Can you please share the updated schedule with the TS? Like, whatever the...
I will. Yeah, sure, Krishna. Yeah. I will share
the TS schedule also for each lesson.
Both the TA schedule and the actual schedule, right? So TA readiness and the other one. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
Thank
you. Okay, this pivot needs to be redone. Okay. I'll send it. Yes.
Yeah.
Any other questions, or we'll move to the homework part. So part 2 is the class isn't over in the classroom. In fact, far from it. So our objective is to, of course, we're teaching to learn to serve. And so we want to make sure that the learning in the class is fully absorbed. And a key part of fully absorbing the learning is thinking about the topic. So Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasana. So Manan and Nididhyasana we would like to do outside the class. And for that, we have homework requirements for each of the sessions. Those homework requirements, for example, Kailash, I pulled up slide 32 from your, this is a sneak preview, Rajesh, of Kailashji's presentation on next week. But you'll see the homework requirements. Kailash, would you like to talk about it?
Yeah, I think what basically we say is, look, we want to have a small narrative. Substance is more important than length. So we are hoping that we can do, in my session, for example, I'm requesting a 240 to 300 word summary of the entire class, 1 hour class. And I present 3 specific questions to address. Say, what is your comprehension of the following 3? And I list out those 3 things. So you basically write it down, and then you have 2 weeks from the day of the class, and this is a consistent time T plus N kind of a formula we use. 2 weeks to complete, and then the faculty has 2 additional weeks to complete the grade between the TA and the faculty. They will decide, and so that will be done. So within 1 month of the course, we hope to close that particular session for records. And we do grading, 3 different grades. One is excellent, second is complete, and third is incomplete. And sort of subjective in the assessment of the people who are reviewing it. They'll say, yeah, excellent or complete. So complete is a minimum requirement. And we would like to have everybody complete 75% of the 24 Sundays completed before we can issue the certificate. And for assistance, you always have a TA name on each session to contact and their contact information for any clarifications you need. Gaurav, I think that covers it.
Thank you. Thank you, Kailash. Yeah. So and each of the 1 hour sessions will have some homework. There's a fair bit of thinking and writing to be required. The length, again, like Kailash said, is not the important thing. And you'll find that the length is actually too short. But the more important thing is that you're able to think about this topic and condense it in your own words so that your thoughts are fully formed on that topic. And of course, the TAs are available for clarifications all the way through this process. So if you have any question about a class, of course, the class recording will be available and the class notes will be available. And of course, all of us are available to talk. So I'll give you again a sneak preview of Moodle. This is what Moodle looks like. And you're going to see this in Bob and Colin's presentation next week. So this is last year's Moodle class. Every class is laid out. All the presentations will be uploaded. All the videos will be uploaded, including after the class, the video recording of the class will be available. So that you can, if you miss the class or if you would like to view it later, you always have that opportunity to view it. You will also be able to submit your homework here and carry out discussions over here as well. So that covers our second topic of the homework requirements. And this might take you 2 to 4 hours to write in the weeks. Please make sure you have time set aside for that. And finally, we come to the opening and closing prayers. I have a note, I can share that with you, which has a more detailed narrative. But these are for those who haven't heard these prayers. Having interviewed everyone, I think everyone has already knows what these prayers are. But the reason we pick these prayers are, of course, they are traditional and they're also quite appropriate for what we're doing, which is it begins with a sort of a legal disclaimer in Sanskrit where we're saying that our mutual relationship in the class is beneficial to the class. And while we hope to have differences of opinion in order to engage in a dialogue, we hope to not walk out with differences of opinion. And so this is the opening prayer. It's traditionally used in all Upanishadic sort of sessions and so on for this reason, because it binds the teacher and the student in the tradition together and creates a safe space for conversations. The closing prayer is a prayer for well-being, of course, so Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, which we all know, and this is a wish for all society emanating out of the class. So those are the ways we open and close each of the classes. Any questions on any of these so far? Okay, good. I'd like to check if
any suggestions, Gauravji? Any suggestions that people may have?
Yeah. Just checking if Lataji is on the call.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Krishnaji, can you, on behalf of all the TAs, would you like to sort of say a few words about your why you're doing this and how you hope to be of help?
Yeah, sure. Namaste, everyone. My name is Krishna Echina, and I was one of the CHTs last year. And initially, when I started this course, I just started with the intention of doing something to the community. But as the course progressed, I realized that I don't know how much I can do, but I learned a lot. Okay, it's a lot actually, and also I got the privilege of associating with a lot of amazing people. It's not just about spiritual level; it's a personal level as well as the intellectual level, and from the service level. So I decided to come back because I want to do something, and also at the same time, this is an ever learning process for me. Associating with the people. Now we have the new set of people coming to the next level, next class, and that also gives me an opportunity to learn from them as well as to serve both ways. So, in a nutshell, this platform gives not only to serve others, it serves ourselves to learn ourselves, to go inside deep. So that's what my experience so far. And I appreciate Kailashji and Gauravji and other board members to bring this program. And yeah, that's it from my side. Yeah, and we are always open to any questions or anything the way we can help each other, because it's a mutual learning. Yeah, that's it, Gauravji, from my side.
Thank you very much, Krishna. Good. We have a couple of minutes before, we have about 5-10 minutes before we close. So now, do you have any questions on either the schedule or the arrangement of classes or the requirement of homework, or also feedback on the choice of opening and closing prayers?
Also, I think if one more item we may want to interject is the travels. When people have travels, and if they have a exception requirements, if they cannot do it in 2 weeks, something like that. I think we're going to be quite open and transparent, but we should know before the fact as opposed to after the fact. So we are fair and consistent in how we manage the program. If there's a need for any exceptions to be made for somebody who's going to be away for 3 weeks or whatever, so we want to make sure that we manage them consistently in the same way.
So if I'm out for 3 weeks, this is Usha Narasimhan.
Usha, Namaskar. Yeah.
Namaskar. So if I'm out on vacation or something like that, but I'm still able to either dial in and take the class, or I do a self-study and submit the homework, is that still valid?
That is still valid, yes. Provided at least 50% of the classes you're attending real time. The remaining 12, it's okay to catch up later. It's not a problem at all.
Thank you.
Also, I have to say, we started this late in last year's class. Those of us who are in the Milpitas location, we expect laddus and gulab jamuns, but because last year we came to a culture where people were bringing things from home, and by the end we had really, really massive treats happening.
Yeah, we want to continue that culture. Yeah.
I'll try to, attend in person whenever I visit. I'm actually here in the Bay Area right now.
Oh, great. Wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, as last year's CHT, I think attending personally benefits a lot. Okay, that's my experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we want as many people can come locally without inconveniencing themselves. It puts extra energy into the program, so that'll be great.
Wonderful. Good. All right. I have, if you're interested, I have longer essays on the opening and closing prayers. I could share them with you for your reference, for your just later reading purposes. We also have, by the way, a very amazing asset in terms of last year's dissertations, which we will share with you later. But you have a lot of interesting things to read later in time. Anyway, I'll skip that for now. But we have a lot of resources that we're building together as a library of content we've created.
And
Wonderful.
more to do this, to take it to the next level. That's what we want to do, is take it to a very high level this year with this new team, with all the highly qualified and experienced people coming in. Very exciting. Yeah.
Okay. Classes start next Sunday at 1 o'clock Pacific. This is the same bridge. By the way, HCI uses the same classroom bridge for all the classes. So all you have to do is memorize this on your phone and dial into it, and then on your computer as well. So that way it will be always available. Plus, someone can volunteer to create a Google group with all the emails. I'm happy to share the emails. If you could create a Google group and maintain it, that will be fantastic, because then communications will be easier to have. I will send out calendar invites as well. Now, are there any questions before we close?
So
anyone who didn't introduce themselves last time and would like to introduce themselves, please go ahead.
So this is Salman. Just a quick question, regarding the travel stuff. It looks like it's ideal to get into the Zoom, video call, because that gives them maximum, understanding rather than a phone call. But sometimes there could be situations where people would probably call in rather than zooming in through the actual, through a laptop or something like that. So, and hopefully the video recording will help augment that as when we go back and listen to it and get it done. So I think you answered the question, but I'm stating this because there's a lot of times that will happen. For example, right. I'll be in India for a month for my own yoga things, and then I'll call in, but zoom in. But sometimes the line is bad and things like that.
Yes, that is completely all right. Thank you for bringing that up.
The viewing of the slides is what is important, right? When you voice is only part of it. Audio visual, the slides, and if you have any videos, you have to see them afterwards. Right. Yeah, that's okay.
Right.
As long as you can close, that's fine. That should be fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, slides will be all posted on Moodle, so you'll be able to download and view them on it. For the most part, we expect the slides to be available online.
And you will have instructions to how to use the learning management system, right?
Yes. So on the next class, one of the classes is actually Bob and Carmen Brown talking you through the learning management system and how to use it.
Okay, yeah, you said that.
Yeah.
And by the way, Gauravji, you can also point out that each session is preloaded on the system for viewing. So if you're interested in on October 18th to see what the content is going to be for the 20th class, you should be able to see that. Isn't that right, Gauravji?
That is correct.
It'll be available on Moodle. So if you are, you can see what's going to be presented. That gives you a little bit of a heads up on the content and the speakers and their bios and all that.
That'll be great.
Yeah, Hari Om. This is Aarti calling in from Los Angeles. Next week, both me and my husband are volunteering for the Global Bhagavad Gita Convention, but
sure,
we do plan on attending the class in person, provided we are relieved of our volunteer duties. But I don't mind taking the ownership of the Google group and I can form
Okay.
a group. That's not a problem. If you can send me the email addresses, I'll go ahead and do that. And for us to view what is going to be taught on the 20th, how are we going to log in? Are you going to send us the information ahead of time?
Yeah, so 20th, because we haven't trained you on the learning management system, we won't be able to send it. But from that point on, every other class will be available. Yes.
Yeah, and both me and Srinath are, we do apologize. We couldn't call in last week because of the Navratri festivities. And so I'm actually pretty excited to be part of this learning experience. And both me and Srinath are members of Chinmaya Mission Los Angeles. And
Yes.
we both, I think we spoke to you during our interview process regarding that.
Yes, yes. We're very, I think we got a huge experience coming in, and the community service experience, Bhagavad Gita knowledge, all the professionals of high caliber. We have a huge collection of knowledge, so we should be able to learn from each other. That's the whole spirit of this program.
Yeah.
Keep it open and engaging. That'll be wonderful. I think we are very much excited too. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so
Great.
much for this opportunity.
Wonderful. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Now our time is up for today. We look forward to seeing you next week. But before that, we would like to do the closing prayers. So if you could join us along, please sit comfortably. The prayers are on the screen. I've shared it, but I'm sure you remember this already. Please sit comfortably with your back straight, and your back, neck, and head in a straight line. Closing the eyes gently, relax the expression on your face. Relax your shoulders and relax your belly. Bring your palms together in Namaskar Mudra. We're going to chant Om once and then the close prayer Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. Exhale completely. Take a deep breath. Inhale. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. Sarve Santu Niramaya. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Hari.
Thank you very much. And see you next Sunday. And welcome to the CHT 2020 class. Namaskar.
You.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.